The long-awaited One Piece live action season 2 is finally here. But before we get into dissecting it, I would like to say welcome back to Haki Review, everybody. I hope you all had a great day, a great night, or a great morning, wherever the hell you are from. Today we're gonna be reviewing One Piece live action season 2 episode 1. So hit the subscribe button and click on the bell notification to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Let's get into it. So first and foremost, we get to see in the very first scene the Baroque Works agents Mr. Five and Miss Valentine. And right off the bat, I can just tell you right now that these two are perfectly casted. I felt like their acting was on par with their actual character, but not making it too silly and too goofy. I honestly think they did great with their devil fruit powers, even more so than the anime did back in the day. So I give one round of applause to Mr. Five and Miss Valentine. Let's give it up. Let's give it up for them. And then we have one of the best characters of this entire season, Miss All Sunday, which is also known as Nico Robin. I honestly think that Nico Robin's best performances and best scenes were actually shown to us in the trailer. But if you take into consideration her devil fruit power and how it actually works, and her showcasing it in one of the very first scenes of the first episode, was actually pretty brilliant and extremely brutal. In a scene that she takes out more than a dozen Marines, and she does it in a brutal manner. So these Baroque Works agents are in some kind of a marine base to find out what happened to Mr. Seven. And you should know Mr. Seven because that was the guy that Zoro cut up last season. I think in the very first episode that we see Zoro. So when they are in this marine base, they discover that it was the handiwork of Oronoura Zoro, as Robin says, and also they have a bounty of Mr. Captain Monkey D. Luffy. I mean, honestly, this marine is the biggest rat of the season, I think. God damn. First scene of the Going Merry with Usopp and Sanji having their little dynamics. They're talking about supplies, talking about everything they gotta do before they reach the Grand Line. And honestly, from the get-go, I could tell that Usopp would be my favorite out of all the Straw Hats this season. I don't know, there is just some charisma about his acting, about the way he handles Usopp, because it's not very anime-like, but he embodies the character perfectly. And it's also very cool seeing Nami showing the others how to get into the actual Grand Line, because we can't just sail through the Calm Belt, because there is no wind there, and there's a bunch of sea monsters, so the Going Merry could not handle that. So we gotta sail up a mountain. Yeah, we gotta sail up a mountain. Seeing Zoro for the first time was actually kinda shocking, because if you look at him last season, he looks totally different from this season. My man put on some weight, and good weight, not like myself, just a stomach. Nope, my man put on some muscle. And I mean, that is very good. And he did get tips from Oda to train his chest even more. But I still wouldn't have him this buff so early on in the series. And also, you see, the dynamic between Zoro and Sanji is alright. I would like them to do a bit more on that. I know they have their arguments and it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny here as well. But I would like them to butt heads a little bit more. And then we have our main character, Monkey D. Luffy. In my opinion, no hate to the actual actor himself. But as I said, in my opinion, this role does not suit him so far. From what I have seen, he doesn't embody, he's not like Usopp, he doesn't embody the character, alright? It's not meant to be like the anime. Do not get me wrong. Do not, I mean, how is Luffy or some other character supposed to go and do the NL pose, for example, the NL face, right? It's just not possible. But you could embody the character like Usopp does. He feels more natural with the character. And Luffy's kind of not that hard to do, But I think why Iñaki is having a little bit of trouble with him is because he did not know Luffy before getting casted for this series. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he has said it himself.
I remember that for my audition, and I played this YouTube video that was like, oh, who is Monkey D. Luffy? Let's analyze this character.
And so this is no hate for the actual actor himself. I'm just pointing out some flaws I see in his acting of the character Monkey D. Luffy. No hate whatsoever. In fact, I truly respect Iñaki for taking on a role where he has no idea about this character of this incredibly long story. And this character is well known and everybody loves him. So it's a really hard job for him, but acting wise, I think the character that is going to play Ace would be a better Luffy than Iñaki. And why I say that is because that actor is much more experienced and have done much more famous shows than Iñaki has. Now, I kinda said that Luffy's character is not that hard to do in a not anime sense, and I still stand by that. The hard thing is meeting everybody's expectations. That's the hard thing. But what is not hard is just being Luffy, being the funny guy, but still being the dumb guy, but still making some smart decision. Some. Very few smart decisions, and taking himself not that seriously. That is Luffy. He does not take himself that seriously only when he's up against a foe or when his friends are in danger. That's when everything starts to get serious. That's when his facial expression changed to a more serious Luffy. But it's not like we can just draw on Iñaki's face the shading and make him look more serious. He has to do his facial expressions much better, right? But his facial expressions are a little bit too much. And I'm sorry to say it, because I think Iñaki is a pretty good guy. Alright, I really truly think he's a pretty good guy. He's a good actor as well. He is a good actor, just not for Luffy. That's what I'm saying. Alright? I'm not saying that he's a bad actor. I'm just saying that the role of Luffy just does not click with him as much as I would like it to be another actor. Now, who? I just took an example. The guy from Cobra Kai that I think they're gonna play for Ace would be a better Luffy. But I really think that this criticism is not actually Iñaki's fault, but it is actually the staff and production team. They should know more about Luffy, and they should know more of how to embody his character and lay it down for Iñaki so he could do a better job. Or maybe they just thought that he's doing it already. I disagree. And so one more thing I want to say about Luffy is that this is not in no way, shape or form just judging him and that's gonna be it. I'm never, ever gonna change my mind. Of course, Iñaki could go on season 3 and do a much better job and make everybody happy. And then there is no criticism, alright? But he's doing a famous show, alright, that everybody loves. So some people are going to have different opinions and some people are going to love him. But some people like me are going to criticize him, which is fine, alright? No hate whatsoever. Heading into Log Town, we begin it with a small mini flashback of Goldie Roger's execution. We have this mini scene with him and Garp, which is not supposed to happen until way later on in the story. And so I really love this because in the anime, it's not particularly shown where this conversation happens. Is just shown to us that, well, Roger is in some kind of prison. But in the live action, they actually show us that this is Log Town we're talking about. Or maybe I'm mistaken on the anime part, I could be. But I just really love that they added this in, it just fits so perfectly. Because this is the place where Goldie Roger was born, but also executed. And so this brings me to my first criticism of Log Town. I might be wrong about this because I've only seen this episode once, alright, and now I'm just kind of looking through it. But I don't think it was ever mentioned that Gold Roger was born on this island. I think it was only mentioned that he was executed. And that's pretty important because in the anime, I don't know really about the manga so early on, but in the anime, Luffy is excited to be in this island. Not only because Roger was executed there and he wanted to look at the altar, but it was the place where Roger took his first and last steps. His first and last breaths also. And so the anime has this very particular scene. He specifically says in a dramatic scene, that island of Logtown is the place where Roger was born and executed. And this scene had some oomph to it because Luffy was so serious about it. He actually remembered he had some brain power. He used 1% of his brain capacity, which does not happen, by the way. But even Nami was surprised by that in the anime. And so I would love to have seen this as well. But also when we step into Logtown, I would love to see Luffy more focused and not so happy-go-lucky. Oh, haha, yeah, I want to see the altar. No, a little bit. I mean, he's always like that, but just a scene where he is a bit serious. No smile, just like not trying too much. Not like, but a bit like, damn. That's the altar, man. Shit. No, I'm no actor, but I think I did a pretty good job there. Moving forward to Zoro and all of the scenes with him, the most important ones, right? And that is where Tashigi steps into the picture, which I love. All right. First, when I saw this episode, I wasn't feeling that great about her because she was annoying. But then I remembered, holy crap, she's actually pretty annoying in the anime as well, and also in the manga. So this actor for Tashigi, I don't know what her name is, but she did a brilliant job of aligning with the actual character herself. So hats off to our Tashigi. She gets a W for this. And so Zoro goes into the sword shop trying to get himself 2 new swords. This whole scene is all done perfectly because he takes on the sword, throws it up, just like the anime, exactly like the anime, should I say, and it lands. And so he shows that he's luckier than the sword, he's better than the sword's curse, blah blah blah. This guy, the shop owner, gives him the sword, everything is very good. Even the shop owner embodied the original shop owner's look and even his character as well, so I loved it. And that's that for Zoro. I just wish he doesn't look as much spaced out, alright? Zoro's not that serious in the beginning of the series. I mean, he is, but also not. He becomes more of a serious person, well, after nothing happened, but also after post-time skip, he's just, I mean, Zoro has lost his smile, essentially. But here, Zoro rarely smiles at all, so that's just a criticism to Zoro's actor, I think, or just the production team as a whole. Zoro did a pretty good job this season, but I will of course get into the nitty-gritty of all of this in the coming episodes. We got Bartolomeo showing up, and many people were confused, like this never happened in the anime. Well, of course it's not gonna be one-to-one with the anime and manga, but this makes a whole lot of sense because this is the island where Bartolomeo knew about Luffy for the first time. This is the island where he saw him for the first time. He saw him in the altar, and so he became a fan of him because he was about to die. Luffy was about to die, and then lightning struck and he got freed, but essentially Luffy was about to die and he smiled. And so that bravery from Luffy made Bartolomeo fall in love and chase Luffy down into the Grand Line and to the New World. Yes, but I think this is a little bit of a problem with him meeting some of the Straw Hats, but that's alright, I mean, they can't go one-to-one like I said with the anime, so that's just a nitpick, honestly. I love Bartolomeo. Then we meet Buggy once again, one of the best performers of the first season of this live-action series, and definitely one of the bright sides of this very first episode. because his acting is just brilliant. He embodies Buggy's character with this a little bit more sinister vibe to it. But we have possibly the worst character of this entire episode, but I think also the worst character of this entire season, which is not necessarily her fault. It is the staff and production and animation and CGI's team's fault. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, Alvida. First of all, the actress of Alvida did not do a wonderful job. She was okay. A little bit cringe sometimes, but okay. I can accept it a little bit because she's not in the story so much. But her devil fruit power is showed in such a weird, cringy, and just outright bad cinematic way. I don't know, I don't even know if that's a word. So, I mean, I just cringed when I saw her powers. It was just so bad. They should have done it in some other way, shape, or form, because it's much harder to do Luffy stretch Gum Gum, which actually looked very good this season in comparison to last season, than her just slippery freaking devil fruit. That's supposed to be one of the easiest ones to do. I mean, she lost the weight. The actress actually lost the weight herself. So you just had to make her skin look a little bit more smooth. Now, I mean, even when Luffy was punching her, it did not look good when his hand slipped off her shoulder or something. Let me show you that scene. Look at this scene. Look at this scene right here. And look, take a look. Wait, hold on. Well, let's just stop for Alvida and look at Luffy's face. He's doing too much. It's not, no. Guys. I've seen this guy's face. I've seen him talking normally. Do it normally. He's a little bit faking too much. Now, let's leave that. I think that is actually the production team's fault because they did not say it to him. Because Luffy never does this. He never moves slow. Yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of hate on this, but I'm just giving my opinion. It's just not Luffy. It's not Luffy. And I know he can't do it perfectly, but still, I mean, he's trying. That is good. But the team could give him some tips. I mean, come on, Matt Owens. I think he did this show, bro. If this video gets famous, I'm gonna get so much hate. But it is what it is. But I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Luffy move this slowly in my whole entire life. So you wanna fight? I mean, that line is alright. The lines in this entire show, by the way, the lines are very anime-like. And I don't know why they did that, because in the first season, the actual dialogue and the lines between the fighting was actually more of a movie-type dialogue. Like normal Hollywood movie-type dialogue. But in this season, they made it more anime-like, which I did not like whatsoever, because it just made it more cringy. But let's go back to Alvida. Okay. It says... And I kind of like this serious face. Like he's kind of excited, and I like this. This is more natural. Let's go back to Alvida. Gum. All right. Stretching, and it kind of embodies the first attack on Alvida, and it kind of it slips off her face. I just don't think it looks good. Let's just make it normal speed. Let's see how it actually looks. They slowed it down a bit. I get it. It just didn't look good, but not as bad as this. This scene that is coming up with Alvida's powers is one of the worst things about this entire show. About the full 8 episodes of this show. Alright? We'll see about that. Look at that dialogue. I don't care about your devil fruit. You still can't beat me. Yeah, I like that cockiness, of course. I'm Captain Iron Alvida. Okay. She takes off her shoes. Okay. And look at this. So they push her. Bro, this looks so bad. I mean, she's controlling where she's going. I don't think I've ever remembered her controlling her actual slipperiness, but this just looks so terrible, actually. She's kind of gliding. If she had laid down, if they'd made her like lay down and kind of slide faster, like this, and taking her freaking bat and trying to fight Luffy with it in a faster sense, it would have been actually good. But here it's kind of slow, but it's kind of fast, but it's kind of slow as well, and it's not looking good at all. And this shot is so bad. This shot right here, this shot of it zooming into Luffy's face is one of the most cringiest things I've ever seen. And why is she blinking in mid-attack? That doesn't make sense. And this shot of Luffy, because of Alvida? I don't know. This shot was so bad, and you didn't even take a look at that. You didn't even see her landing the freaking bat on his face. You didn't even see the attack go through. Just saw her swing kind of in the air, and Luffy just flies. Where is the bat? Where is it? Oh my god. Yeah, terrible scene. Terrible scene. Not particularly the actor and the actress' fault. Not particularly their fault, but terrible scene, actually. And then, of course, Buggy, Bartolomeo, they did a fantastic job. But a very, very weird scenario and very weird scene as a whole. If it was that hard to do Alvida's Devil Fruit, then just cut her away from this freaking scene. Cut her away from this entire arc for all I care. It's just Alvida. Who the fuck gives a shit about her? Honestly. Then we have this scene. Everybody kind of making fun of Luffy. I don't remember. Maybe he handcuffed him with Sea Prism Stone here. That's why he couldn't do anything. So that was alright. Let's see if anybody goes through on the... Yeah, she kind of hits Alvida and she falls to the ground. Not showcasing Alvida's Devil Fruit at all. My problem is that this season was so freaking censored. I don't get it. I just don't get why. Last season, we had Zoro literally cutting Mr. 7 in half. And they show blood and everything. But then again, when it was Nami's turn to do the gory stuff and her stabbing her arm multiple times, okay, in the first season, they kind of censored that as well. She had stabbed herself like 3-4 times, and it was a tiny mark, just a tad bit tiny. That did not make sense. And in this season, you rarely see blood. I mean, so rare. This is supposed to be a show for all of the audiences, for the entire world even. Alright? For freaking teenagers, for young kids, but also for adults, more so for adults, because these are the people that following the series. The average watcher of One Piece is above 30 years old, so more so for the adults. And now, even freaking old people are watching One Piece, but you still have to go in with the censoring. We had enough with the anime censoring, and now you bring the censoring to the live action. Not good at all, right? Let's move on to some positive stuff, because there is a lot of positive stuff, I'm not gonna lie. This episode may be the worst episode of this entire season, but it still has its positives. The duel between Tashigi and Zoro was done brilliantly. Absolutely brilliantly. No complaints whatsoever. Her acting towards Zoro kind of giving you that, the messed up vibe that he's on her mind. That's it. He's on her mind, and he's gonna be on her mind for the rest of the freaking series. She does that so perfectly. And she's such an annoying little piece of shit. Incredible job from Kuwina's actress. I don't know her name, but incredible work from her. She should get a better acting job, a more famous movie or something. And then the guy that we have not really talked about in this entire episode, is Smoker-kun. I don't really get this because it was supposed to be Luffy against Smoker only, but I had no problem actually them doing it a little bit different, having Sanji there as well, trying to kick him, trying to fight him. This fight is actually pretty good. Unlike the other fights, I think Smoker's Devil Fruit is done in an incredible way. Incredibly good. I mean, look at the Gatling now. Even the Gatling looked almost perfect. Almost perfect. Almost. It looked pretty good. And look at his Devil Fruit. Look at his Devil Fruit. It just looked flawless. Honestly, I think it's better looking than any other Devil Fruit out there that we've seen so far in the series. Not that we have seen many, but I think it's perhaps the second best Devil Fruit of this entire season. And Luffy's, I think, the third. I think they did a much better job with Luffy's Devil Fruit this season than last season, of course, because they had more money. Look at that attack from Smoker. Yup. All of this is very good, right? All of this is really good. All of the fight is pretty incredible. And then when Smoker wins the fight, here is the scene which has been mostly controversial throughout the social media, throughout YouTube and whatever, and that is Dragon. Let me just admit that this actor was not really the actor I had in mind, or the look I had in mind for Dragon, but it kind of suits him, so I really got no problem with it. It doesn't look like Luffy whatsoever. That's normal. I mean, how can you bring somebody that looks exactly like Luffy? But I literally have no problem with it. I think the marks on his face is pretty good. His voice is pretty good. Everything, how he talks. Some moments with the Smoker is also kind of overdone, like not overdone, but kind of also a little bit cringe. Some moments, but not all of them. And here, Sanji kind of sees Dragon. That's the thing I like also. Sanji kind of sees Dragon as well. And then both Dragon and Smoker disappear. So, all in all, this scene and that fight was pretty incredible. Luffy having no idea who that was is also incredible. I just don't think Luffy even thought about it in the anime or the manga, which is no problem at all. And here's something I missed the first time until my brother showed it to me, which is actually this character right here. Look at Sabo. All right. I don't know what to say honestly about Sabo, other than they got the fit right, but I don't think the long hair suits him. Does Sabo have long hair? He doesn't. I'm pretty sure he does not. But it's alright. But here's a scene that I did not quite like. Not because of the acting, not because of anything. And it's the scene where Nico Robin meets with Tashigi. And I just don't think that Tashigi is that dumb. I mean, she's a little bit dumb. She would for sure recognize, if she can recognize swords, she would for sure recognize Nico Robin's face from her bounty poster. Even though Nico Robin is a full-fledged older woman here, but in the wanted poster, she's a pretty young girl. I think the Marines and Tashigi herself would recognize her. So that was kind of a little bit also a nitpick on this episode. A scene that I did not particularly like. I think they could have skipped this scene through and through. And she kind of did not tell Smoker about it. I said he laughed. Yeah, that was also... Did he laugh? I mean, yeah, he laughed, but it's supposed to be he smiled. It's alright. That is alright. And then the last scene, Bartolomeo, yeah, heading into Grand Line, heading into Reverse Mountain. I think from here, from the first episode, Reverse Mountain looks good. The red line looks absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I have no problem with it whatsoever. In fact, it was done very good. I think the team and Disney could do a bit better, a lot better. But it is what it is, you know. It's only the second season. They did their best. Hopefully they did their best. Hopefully next season is gonna be better. Yeah, so all in all, this episode was not terrible, but it was not particularly brilliant as well. And that's why I'm gonna give this episode honest opinion. This episode, with all of the things taken into consideration, I'd give this episode a 5.5 out of 10. And you can feel free to hate on me for this, but it is what I believe, and you guys could debate my beliefs in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, click on the bell notification so you get notified whenever I upload, and follow me on the socials, because I post a little bit more of short content and you can watch a little bit more of me and take in a little bit more of my opinions and my thoughts on all of this anime and on all of this anime stuff and live action and whatever. Not only One Piece, but all other stuff as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have fun, take care of yourself, and I'll see you guys next time.